Guys, welcome back to Beyond the Key podcast. I know it's been a while, and we've really missed these kinds of conversations where stories are shared, lessons are learned, and real moments happen. I'm your host, Rick Brown, and today I'm excited because I've got a great guest joining us, Mr. Sterling Brooks-Daly. Sterling's a co-founder of UpScale Ignition, a consulting firm built from home service businesses like plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and more. What makes his work unique is the combination of financial strategy and operational execution. He's helping business owners build companies that are not just profitable, but scalable and sellable. Please help me welcome Sterling to the show. Hey, man, great to have you here.
Rick, thank you so much for having me, man. Great introduction. I love that.
Awesome. Hey, before we get started into the business side of things, I always love to start with a story, your story.
Too.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you to where you are today? Maybe what's something people might not know about you outside of work?
I'd be happy to. I would say how I've gotten to this place today and my entire life, it's kind of woven into business and personal. Because for a lot of my life, when I was younger, around 18 and so on, I just was focused on business, didn't do anything else but try to figure out business. Not saying I was very successful at it, but hey, I'm definitely perseverant. All right. What's that one thing? It's like what is it? It's a fool who's perseverant will become wise, or something like that. Anyways, so basically, I started out at a digital marketing agency, and I just started from the ground up. Basically, my stepdad introduced me to this guy who owned this agency, and was just literally like, "Hey, my son knows computers. Can you do something?" Like, that was it, because he's a faux finisher, so he does beautiful art, and him and my mother make beautiful custom art and stuff like that as well. But computers not so much. In my family they call me the computer doctor because they really don't know what I do. But anyways, okay. The point is that I just started out I just was sitting there and moving manually from Drupal websites into just a new WordPress website. I was just sitting there and doing the basic stuff of moving a website, and then moved into actually building the websites. And I'd never really liked design too much, which is funny because my entire family's artistic. But but then I started getting Google Ads, right? This is about 1 or 2 years into this agency, and inevitably that led me to really want to rework the entire agency in a way. What I started to see was the connections between the websites and the ads and the analytics, and just the way my mind really works is I started to reformat that agency. And then about 5 or 7 years ago, or about 5 years into that, I would say, or 6 years into that, operations really became my bag. So I departed from there, and I started to do random stuff, having random clients. One notable client, funny enough, was in real estate. This is like around 2014 or 15, maybe. This is still when the crash is not fresh by any means, but there's still quite a bit of sufferings. And quite a bit of a good market for certain people. So this guy was in the secondary mortgage market, and I built his entire set of operations in Salesforce for him at the time. And that was a really fun project, but I really started to get into the operations. And then I just kind of flowed back into digital marketing consulting and operations consulting here and there. I picked up a really big inventory project. Kind of skipping around here, but
you're getting ahead of yourself. Let's dive a little bit more into some more about you, the person. Sure. Because I understand, a little birdie told me that you're doing some kind of full-time RV life going on right now.
Oh, so that's where I was trying to skip to. Not right now, but I did as soon as I got this. I started full-time RV life about 2 years ago. And sorry, I was trying to get to that point of the story, but it was too much. But my bad. Anyway,
so we'll get into the business part of it. I just obviously, when I have you guys on, it's Beyond the Key. I want to talk about you. Your background, because I know you're a part of BNI Fusion, which is an amazing BNI networking group that we're both part of. And if you're a small business out there and you like what you hear today, and maybe you're thinking about joining a networking group, definitely reach out to us. We can definitely get you in there as a visitor, as a guest from Sterling or myself. But we talk about business, and I don't really know who Sterling is. When I heard about this, my podcast director, she's like, "Oh yeah, you got to ask him about his RV life."
It's
living in an RV? What are you doing?
I am. Eventually, I got burned out. let me skip ahead in that story. I got burned out and I was like, screw this. And also at the time too, funny enough, I didn't know you, Rick, at the time, because maybe I could have actually figured out how to get a house, because at the time I'm looking at the market and I'm like, and this is in like 2022 or 3. So now we had COVID market that was really bumping everything up. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I am not going to pay $400,000 for the crappiest house on my block that I've driven past every day that I've lived in Longwood my entire life. It's not happening. I honestly was just like, you know what? Let me see if I could do this RV life thing. After a certain point, you just have to pull the trigger. You can't plan. You can't do nothing else. You just gotta be like, let me see if I could actually make this work. And lo and behold, I did. I found a little park right next to me. I was living in Lake Mary's with a buddy at the time, me and my girlfriend actually, and moved her into the RV with me. She was in the RV with me at the time, ex-girlfriend now. But yeah, no, the Wekiva Falls is a huge, like at least like 500-600 lot, like RV park. It's like, you know, it's funny living in an RV. It's like, I imagined was scared of, and had these odd, you know, and I really had to take a look at myself and balance myself a bit more to, you know, like, because I think I was thinking like trailer parks or something like that. And I didn't really, you know, the only kind of thing that I heard from trailer park was like, that was like Eminem songs. Right? Like I grew up on Eminem, so I'm sitting there like, I don't know how this is going to go. And, you know, then I get in there and realize I was just being a bit of an elitist prick there. Had to learn a little bit, humble myself, because man, I live with the retired people, you know, putter around on golf carts. It is the jam. And then there's just special places you can stay.
So let me ask you, so far as this RV, is it on wheels? On
wheels, yeah. It's a 2023 Coachman Murata 35 ES. It's a 36-foot Class A RV.
36 foot. Okay, it's a good size.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So
have you taken it anywhere? Have you traveled anywhere with it?
Man, right after I got it, I told you I was burned out. So I literally just took it across the United States. That was like the first thing I did in a couple months. I fired my client that I couldn't stand, that was driving me crazy. And I was just like, I'm done. And on top of that as well, I was also, I'm, if you can't tell already, highly ADHD. And I was on Vyvanse and Adderall for a while, or excuse me, my entire life. And I was just getting really tired of that burnout cycle. You know, everybody deals with it differently, but, you know, as you age, and I just got tired of I just got tired of it, man. So I literally stopped all that stuff, which made for very funny stories on that trip, because it was a 6-month-long trip all the way to Idaho and then back. No medication after being medicated. It was wild.
Right. So let me ask you, how do you balance running a business with this all working in the background, right? With the ADHD and all that stuff.
That's it.
Obviously, you're not married, right? You're single?
Nope. Very single.
Okay.
Well, actually, kind of seeing somebody right now, but yeah, no.
I'm not trying to get you on a dating app or anything.
Rick's trying to get me on Tinder. Yeah, no, I know.
Swipe left. No, sorry, but I mean, you're young. I mean, hey, you know what? Never know. This might be a good place for if anybody. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, look.
Yeah, you never know, right?
You really don't.
Right, on that note, we can shift to now what it is you do, because I've seen your, presentation that you've done with our group, and it's impressive. And that's kind of why I wanted you to be on the show. But maybe kind of walk us through your work and the kind of businesses you typically help. So those people that are listening, those businesses that are out there listening, and we'll make sure, obviously, to provide all of Sterling's information so that if you're interested in having that consultation, I don't know if it's free, but if it is, maybe it's something that you can reach out. But well, let's first start talking about what drew you specifically to working with home service type businesses.
So to be honest, and not trying to sit here and soft pitch BNI, but seriously, it was from BNI, like getting into our group. That was my first real experience getting into a networking group. And it allowed me to refine it, because I think you may remember, like, I didn't come in just saying I was a home services consultant at first. Like, that was over time as I got my feelers in the market, got my soft skills in place of actually being able to talk to people in an efficient way about what I do and so on. So, but beyond that, just to be real, the biggest thing at the end of it from all the data I collected was a character match. I love people who work in the trades. And typically they love me and my business partner, Andrew, because we actually truly are cohesively helping. And to me personally, the other side of it too, is now I'm starting to really understand a deeper community element that really is the thing that's driving me, I'm finding. And that's that, like, as I've gotten deeper into, like, one of my clients right now, the Drain Daddy, like, I've been in the trenches with him doing inventory, learning more stuff, and I just ask him things because I love to learn. And it's amazing, what we forget about is running our daily lives and the men and women that are behind it doing it. So if I can sit there and bring my skill sets and Andrew's deep skill sets to really help the true good character tradesmen that are keeping our homes running, our streets going, all these things, then absolutely, that's how I can actually give back. So I really can't, it was a character match, but also it's a huge gap in the market. I mean, honestly, like, of course there's coaches for things. There's people trying to sell you software. Maybe there's a consultant that'll set it up, but very, very few and far in between are consultants, at least on my side, because Andrew does a completely different set of things than I do. I do half the business, and my half of the business is to understand you as the business owner, understand how you like to use technology, understand the finer points of operations in your company of actually how it works, and then with you implementing that technology and training you and going through all that stuff. That's a gap that, especially for tradesmen, is just not there. And that honestly, they're usually really good at what they do, but they're not good at technology. So yeah, that's where I come in.
So I'm going to ask this because I know a lot of our listeners will fall under the real estate side, right? So you potentially have experience in real estate, like especially on the technology side, operation side. What does that look like in your business?
Absolutely. So real estate, I would say Andrew deals with a lot more real estate than I do. I have worked in and for real estate. Like right now I'm setting up 2 different instances of Follow Up Boss and so on, but that's really just because CRMs is just as a plain blanket statement is something that I've done a lot of. So yeah, I mean, but honestly, really right now for real estate agents, it's only into setting up CRMs and small, maybe automations and things like that, but nothing like real big.
Drip campaigns.
Drip campaigns, absolutely. Now, actually, I'm sorry, I totally just biffed this.
You biffed it?
I biffed it, yeah, because property management, I have redone an entire door loop install, and it has been a nightmare. But I've been doing it. And there was a door loop install that was just left for 2 years and not properly categorized. Like I put no less of 80 hours into this freaking thing, and we just have to redo it. Like we just have to get a brand new one. But I know everything about door loop now. If you want that, So okay. Random things like that, ops software, and then when it comes into CRM is where I really shine out in those types of things. So, but
for someone hearing this about your work for the first time, how would you explain the services you offer and the problems you solve?
Great question. So,
well, let's make this practical. Say okay. I'm a plumber, Rich. Obviously, the Drain Daddy. I have to think
I
that's
love
a plumber,
that.
Right?
Oh, it is.
Okay, I got 2 guys and 1 office staff, and I just can't seem to get ahead. What would you do first, and how might things go depending on what you find?
Absolutely. So I haven't really spoken, and I'll speak briefly just about my other half, Andrew. So I only mean that in business. But anyways, he is my better half, though, in business and everything else. But yeah, no, I mean, just the way I talk about it.
That's the way I talk about my agent, so it's all good.
Right, yeah. So basically, he brings an in-depth knowledge of finance and tax strategy. He's been an accountant for, I don't think he's actively doing any accountant work right now, and he definitely doesn't. We don't do accountant work or bookkeeping work, just to be very clear. But
pass that basically, over to Casey Mallet, right?
Absolutely, 110%. And I've heard nothing but good things about Casey from everyone that has worked with Casey. So yeah. I would absolutely pass them over to Casey. Yeah. So. But it's like he handles the financial side of things, the job costing, the budgeting, but also the hiring. He's very, very good at helping with the interview process and getting in there with the owner and finding those right fits and making the process be right up until you have to get in there and interview them. So all that pre-work is gone. So he's very, very good at that, as well as it just does not hurt to have somebody who's deep in your business, who's a tax strategist, because there's really core points when you're doing things that it can really change the game at the end of the year or when you're preparing to sail. So anyways, So a plumber, the 2 guys, right? So the biggest thing first would be truly having a deep conversation on where he's at, what's going on. There's multiple sides to this. I mean, here's the game is we have what we call a contractor clarity call. And in this contractor clarity call, we have like probably like 100 questions or something like that, which we probably don't go all the way through because we don't want to, but the game is that for Andrew or I going through this, we can buzz through this and understand your pain points because it's broken down even exactly how it is on our website. There's probably about 8 or 9 different areas that people have issues with generally. And from there, we create a custom plan going forward of what we're going to do. So, I mean, because honestly, our skill sets, our offerings go across the board, right? Because some people need help with fleet management. Sometimes they just have trucks that keep being in the shop and so on like that, right? Sometimes it's their technology doesn't work. That's the first thing. That's the friction point. Now I'm getting into more of suppliers. Right now I'm building out an entire inventory app that connects over into House Call Pro and will automatically get pure job costing, pulling it from direct vendors. And it's going crazy right now. I mean, like, I think water heaters went up like 87% in the past like 2 years. Stuff like that I'm learning. Crazy stuff. I mean, I wouldn't have known. But the point of what I'm trying to get at is that we give them a custom plan, and we also aren't here to rob them blind. We are here and always want to be here. The best thing we can do is for companies that are brand new or they're just kind of getting started, they have a hard point. Hey, we come in, we give some lightning strike help, and then boom, we leave. And then we're always there. We're here to help at all the different stages. Every business owner is different to what capacity they get to. I like to say that it's really like, it's how they say you're juggling hats as a business owner, or you're wearing all the hats. I like to say you're literally juggling them, and you're having to like do this whole head thing where you put one on real quick and you're still going in this time. Eventually one of those hats is going to slide off at a certain point in your act. So that's where we come in. So
that's good. So obviously you mentioned you work alongside Andrew, only work alongside him.
Only work. I drink alongside him. We do that.
So what are the benefits of having both of you involved in a business, whether it's home service or any type of company? Do you guys have each of your own strengths? Is that how that works?
It is, 100%. Like, if you ask me a question that has anything to do with dollar signs in front of data, I'll look at you. You ain't going to get nothing out of me. Like, it just won't happen. I have deer in the headlights. Like, I don't know about anything having to do with taxes. I don't know how. Gotcha. Like, can't help you. Andrew can. Andrew can also help as it pertains to knowing the insides and outs of what you can do when you're hiring someone, when you're firing someone, as well as like, hey, what's our employee handbook look like, and other things of this nature as well too. I don't like handling all that stuff. I like to be more of the good guy, the nerd in the back, if I can so help it. So yeah. But for me, then it's just checking operations.
Why is that important to bring together financial strategy with an operation strategy? It sounds like you handle the operation technology. He handles more of the financial. You complement each other in that sense, right?
Absolutely.
Because as the small business owner, we need both. We need the whole financial strategy, build a business plan, figure out how you're going to get from point A to point Z, and operationally, and then let's not kid ourselves, the way technology's going with AI blowing up, we need somebody who's really strong in the technology aspect. Exactly.
So, I mean, like it's kind of we have very odd points where we balance out. Like but the thing that really makes us powerful is how we're like Mario and Luigi, to be honest with you. I actually try to get him to dress up like that. I even said he could be Mario, and he said, he didn't say no, but I haven't really sold it too well. Anyway, so that's not the point though. But I mean, honestly, it's the back and forth of it all, because it's just so nice to have a second brain out there that's with me thinking strategically in the business at the moment. Because there's certain things that I would say that would be very smart to do operationally until Andrew tells me how much money that actually affects the bottom line. And like, Andrew's the one that could talk to me about all that. Andrew's the one who actually, right now, as I'm building out this job cost calculator and everything to get true job costing, dude, I don't know what the hell FICA is. What the hell is FICA? I don't know what's like. Honestly,
something, I don't know. Anyway,
all I know, these are the things that get taken out in payroll deductions. So but these are the true costs and other things of that nature. I could build a really cool calculator. I can make it connect to all the sources, but he's the one that'll actually make the math make sense. And he's the one that understands what your books need to look like at the end of the year.
Got it.
Full stop.
Awesome.
So
kind of switching over to like practical value for a small business, right? What are some common mistakes you see business owners right now in the trades making?
I think that if they have not picked up Claude, they need to. I just think I know that's a big ask for a lot of people, and
Okay.
I'm being dead serious. I'm not being facetious. I know I have a lot of respect for people who do not want to use tech. This is scary shit, man. Like it could be very, like, to me, I'm living it, I'm breathing it, but like it's serious. It's changing the way things are moving. It's crazy. So
Okay, you use technology a lot.
yes.
You just said Claude, but I didn't hear anything about ChatGPT. I mean, we're going to go ahead and go off a script. I have, obviously
Let's
my
go,
questions.
bro. Thank God. Let's go.
But let's talk about it, because, in the real estate world, we're constantly looking at the different platforms that make our life easier, more productive, give us
100%.
back more time to our family, right?
100%.
To do things we want to do. And you hear it, to me, it just seems like Claude does something that's really good at what Claude does. And then there's Gemini, then there's ChatGPT, and then there's, I don't even know. But I know enough to be dangerous. And you said Claude. So do you feel that Claude has revamped the whole AI technology to where you could use the one? See, that's my problem. I love Gemini, but I'm hearing Claude all the time in my business. The prompts that it creates, like it can create a virtual assistant, like answering the phones and shit like that. And I'm like, where the hell am I going to, I don't even begin. And I'll be honest with you, not to bore you, but I'm a big I'm a big TikToker.
Okay.
Trying to build my followers, right? I just hired an amazing social content creator, and she's
awesome.
A Rollins College, 21-year-old, knows what she knows what people, to the point where I'm pretty excited about this. We got 11,000 views on our YouTube channel.
Dude, that's a nice milestone.
One video.
I believe it. No, I believe it. Video. Honestly.
And it was a stupid video. Stupid. I was stupid. But whatever. I regress. The statement I'm making is there are these different platforms, and I get confused. So I would love to know, you being an expert in this arena, that you said Claude and you never said anything else. You didn't say any of the other ones. So you would buy in, or you bought in to Claude.
Yes. So let me put this in a few different ways. So first of all, hype is hype. All right. So in the real estate industry, I see that there's a market of hype. You know what I mean? So I have no doubt that you've heard all about Claude, but then again, I've heard about Claude from my circles too. So right now, it's because Claude has come out with some new updates that to me has made it. It's been very good for strategy. It's been very good for a lot of things. And my GPT is also very good too, because it's learned who I am over the time. But realistically, what I found, just to be very clear, there are way better AI experts out there than me. It's not like I would even consider myself that, but at least I use it enough and use it for clients and so on, and have a practical knowledge of where it actually sits in the real world market, right? And moreover, my job is to sit there and to freaking make your operations efficient. Now it's gotten to the point with Claude, with other things such as, I think it's called N8N and things of this nature. You can really truly replace a lot of the bull crap stuff you do, not what you used to think, which it takes which I want to talk about later, is an entire set of perspectives to accurately do it. Because it's not, if you haven't had an executive assistant for the past 30 years and you know exactly how to direct them, train them, because it's not just within that part, but it's also knowing exactly what you want, what goal you're trying to get to, how you're trying to get there. Well, now the game is now that you have agents, that stuff happens. Your capacity has gone up massively. Massively. Even think about this. Even in simple Excel spreadsheet work, that's done in seconds. That used to take someone a half hour, an hour, so on. That stuff stacks up. Going through and doing stuff you couldn't do before because you didn't want to pay an executive assistant to go through it. Hey, I just transcribed all these calls through Claude. Here's an entire database that it taught me how to make. Here, go through this and tell me this sentiment. It's getting to the point to where the capacity of these AIs, if you have clarity of thought of what to do and the understanding of perspective, that the capacity, that the entire chessboard shifted. Now capacity to do things and work is not scarce in certain regards, where it used to be very scarce. It's an important dynamic shift. Now, here's the game, though. In my opinion, most AIs, the three you mentioned, Claude, GPT, Gemini, to me, they all have their betters and worses, all right? I personally, let me give you an example. I like using ChatGPT's Codex app for its planning capabilities. Awesome planning capabilities, the way it actually sits there and structures out your idea and how you want to make that happen in code. And for somebody who used to have developers over in India and pay tens of thousands of dollars to get this done, that did something that, I kid you not, I built 2 apps last week, fully functional, that would have cost me $50,000 to $75,000 to make from India, not from American developers, and 3 months, like a day, 2 days. It's insane. So now, of course, code is something computers can do. Anyways, let me get back to this. So Gemini is really good working with your sheets, understanding certain things of like actual Google Sheets and working within your Google Workspace and stuff like that. It's also good for a lot of other things. The point is that these AIs are at that like precipice where they're so intelligent and getting so integrated into having different skills and to work with our different apps that it's not going to really matter. You know, so trying to keep up with the hype and being on the best AI and so on, it's good to give it a swing every once in a while. You know, it doesn't hurt to pull up Claude and to be like, hey, I put this same prompt into Gemini. Let me see what Claude gives me back to see if I like it. Because again, it's like Perplexity is another AI. Awesome for research, awesome for blunt force research and just going through things, maybe instructions. You know, Claude is really, I've started to like Claude for strategy in certain things and just kind of seeing how it, I don't know, I can't really put into words. Like, that's the other thing, Rick, is this stuff is happening so fast. Yes. It's impossible for anyone to have a handle on it.
If you don't get in it now, you're going to get passed. You're going to get passed up.
Exactly. I mean, but I
see it all the time. I see how scary it's becoming with the AI. And if you don't embrace it, you know, if you're old school and you're out there, and it sounds like to me that, again, this is your forte. Schedule a call, get on the horn with Sterling and let him kind of tell you. I mean, I'm assuming that you maybe, I don't know if you teach classes or if you're open to maybe doing some constructional Zoom opportunities, right?
All day, always up to teach.
So there's something we can maybe look at getting your information out there and maybe put something together. And hey, maybe I'd even have you come in and talk to my market.
I'd love to. Yeah.
But I'm curious, just to get back on track, what's one thing someone listening today could start doing immediately to improve their business? That's a big question, but I think you know the answer. Hire Sterling Brooks-Daly. That is
I was trying to give some generalized advice, and I was like, oh, man, this is actually a hard question.
I mean,
like it. I'll take that.
Let that in there. I just let it in there.
That was good. You softball. Yeah, hey, hire me. Let me plug myself. Yeah, no.
No, seriously. I mean, I've learned just for the short amount of time that we've been on this call, the value, and we know that in any business, you have to lead with value, right? And now, for anyone listening who's thinking, I need this kind of help, how does somebody get started with you? What's that process?
Real quick, before I get into that, I want to leave on a more positive note because it is very scary out there. Things are changing very fast. No, absolutely, but it is scary in a lot of respects. I know no less than 3 or 4 people that have either gotten fired or in the lens right now of getting fired because of AI. It's real. This is something that's happening. Now, here's what I want to leave on a positive note is that, look, these AIs in the next couple of years are going to get so crazy good that like we could just talk to them like a normal human, and it's even better than they'll understand us on such deep intuitive levels and do whatever we want, like quickly. So let me tell you what's, in my opinion, in the future, what's going to be really important, and it is the core of what I'm trying to do now, is human relationships. If you can do anything with an AI, if you can have it do all your crap work, if you can sit there and truly have that kind of thing, then what are you going to do with your time? Well, you're going to want to spend time with the people you want to spend time with. People want to work with people they want to work with. All right. Plain and simple. So never lose the relationship element. Never let AI do something that's going to impugn your relationship and the actual love that you have for your customers, because that's something that doesn't come through an AI. The humanity of it, the love, in my opinion. So, but you can answer that question now.
Okay. Yes. And I think that's great. And you're right. And I know in my business, and I'm talking again to real estate agents out there, it is a relationship business.
It is.
And I know that I've been actually going back and forth. Should I hire an AI receptionist? Because I'm in front of clientele every day, all the time. And especially, I am fortunate. I have an amazing executive assistant that's been with me going on 8 years, but she works a regular schedule, right? 8:30 to 5:30. In the evenings, I'm out seeing clients, and I don't have anybody answering the phone. So I keep going back and forth to this AI, and you kind of hit the nail on the head and sort of made that decision for me that, it is a human relationship that's needed. AI, I think, can do a lot for us in the back end, but I still am not completely sold on the AI that's taking my calls, trying to convert my leads. I still struggle with that.
Look, I
don't even take those. When those calls came in and I know it's an AI, I say, can I speak to somebody with a pulse?
Look, I totally understand that. And if I was to offer just without knowing too much, and I hesitate to do this, but like realistically, it's in those gap hours of the night and until your executive assistant comes back in, and perhaps, even the weekend, but even your messaging that you have on the AI and just telling it to be like, listen, like, yes, I am an AI. We're going to be upfront with you, but this is only to take a message, and a human's going to call you tomorrow. This is the only AI conversation you're going to have with us, but this is just because we can't man the phones. I mean, you don't have to get that in depth, but you can still have an opportunity to sit there and build that, hey, this is who we are. But look, because at the end of the day, it's like no one's going to be picking up the calls then anyways. And sometimes especially I know how leads are, you need to be on it. So it's even just to have that information, to have them feel like something's going to happen, and then. But then again, it's like, but yeah, if it replaces, hey, I call Brown Home Group and I don't get somebody, I get an AI. That right there is not that. I mean, because Rick, I've heard what you've said in the group, man. Like, I hear how you take care of people. I heard from Roberto. I've heard from other people randomly. Like, it's no joke. Like, when you say you get them a house sold in a month, it happens because you know exactly what you have to do to the yard, to the small things that need to happen, the cause everything to actually make it happen and to just to make it go through. And then buying houses is a completely different deal, which I don't even have. I can't remember any stories off top. But yeah, man, it's like that's like an AI doesn't exist in that part. An AI exists to do the admin stuff. An AI exists for like helping in small ways. But like, no, I mean, the care, the thought, all that stuff that you actually do, no.
It's humanized, 100%.
Human.
So yeah. if somebody was to hire you, kind of what can they expect for a first interaction with you?
Absolutely. We are not salesy worth a damn, just to be honest. Like, I love to teach, honestly, and I even give 2 free calls that are an hour and a half long, and typically it's because we can fix something in that time. I mean, especially with AI and everything, we can usually fix something. So, or we can get an idea plotted out in a flowchart, which I call business therapy. But again, 2 free sessions, and you can it's kind of a try before you buy. I mean, like, especially working with me, at least one half of the group, then you got to kind of like the way that I think and what I'm doing and trust what I'm going to do. So, and also at the same time, I have to see, hey, look, is this going to work out both ways? So that's how I like to do it. I mean, again, not super salesy or nothing like that. You're not going to, so.
Okay. Obviously, we're going to put all of your information into this podcast so they can reach out to you. But do you want to go ahead and tell our listeners where's the best place for people to connect with you and learn more about what you offer?
100%. So our website says what we do better than I do, upscaleignition.com. And that's just UpScale. You're going to put it up there anyways. I don't need to spell it. And then I'd recommend, honestly, just texting me first, 407-716, that number, Rick. There's 2 numbers. There's like a business number and that number. It's a 716 number. That's my direct line. Text me there because I get spam calls all day and everything is pretty much marked as a spam call. But if you text me and you say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I would like to do this or whatever, I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call as soon as I can, and we'll work it out. We'll get something booked. And also I have a booking link on the website, but if you just want to text and just figure out what's up, text me first though, please.
100%. So just to kind of close out, looking back on your journey, Sterling, what's one lesson that maybe had a big impact on how you do business today?
I would say that it was this the best story I can think of right now is when I lost a client for a very big inventory project. It was what led to the creation of UpScale Ignition. And basically, it's like I got everything down. There was a lot of problems. I've learned a lot in that real deep operations time, but I was getting Zoho inventory. Anyways, long story short, I got to the end and I didn't know jack about financials. And inventory is at least one half or more based on financials. At that point, I realized, and I had to make a very big decision of, do I go and learn financials to be like in any kind of finance, accounting, bookkeeping, something? And mainly bookkeeping and accounting, to be able to round myself out, or do I go find someone else? And I had to be honest with myself and understand where my limits were. And I'm like, look, if there's a dollar sign in front of those numbers, it's out of my league. I'm done. I don't want it. So that's when I found Andrew, and he was the only damn accountant I've ever met that has a freaking personality, you know. And then it turned out that we were just, I'm joking, Casey Mallet has a good personality. I like Casey a lot, actually, too. There's a few of them I met now, but at the time, you know, so basically, it was that I couldn't do it all. And it was that start to understand that I needed to find people to work with me. And at that level, what I really learned was that it was the most basic preschool shit they told us. And it was like, do you like this person's heart? Do they have a good heart? You know, like, moreover, are you a character match? Do you have values that match? I can say it in old people speak. Whatever you want to say it, however you want to say it. But to me, It's very simple. It's a character match. And you know what? That even led to my selection of clients, as I even alluded to earlier, and so on. I would say that was probably one of the biggest and now it's even funnier. It's even changed the way I think to do things with clients. Like, I don't even mind bringing on another business consultant that does exactly what we do if they have a specialization that's going to help our client better. I don't care. The more hands on a client, the better. 100%. Yeah.
Sounds like to me you kind of had to go backwards to go forwards based on learning.
Lord have mercy, I've done that a lot.
And that's a lot of what we do in our business, right? And my last thing would be, and honestly, if you could give one piece of advice to a business owner trying to break through to that next level, what would you think that would be?
Honestly, I would say, all right, this is going to be a little bit of probably not what people are thinking. But, you know, there's two ways to do business. I specialize in one, I don't do the other. One of them, the way I don't do, is full control, draconian control, all control. You'll usually see these in telemarketing places where it's just like, you know, you get in, you get fired, you're treated like garbage. I don't do that. The other way is truly via the working together harmoniously and so on and so forth, right? And that's what I do best with. Now, the business owners on that path that are actually trying to run a good business, sit there and actually have their values, have their character, actually be a human and act that way as they have business interactions. Well, to them, I would say that the biggest thing that I actually help business owners with, but I don't talk about because it's not the first thing people want to talk about, is internal balancing. As a business owner, the number one thing that has got me past all of my interrupts and my stops was that I had a blockage inside. It was something that I had to figure out. Look, you can only be as good, your business can only be as good as you are, truly. You know, if you hit a point in your business that you really feel like you can't get past, I would highly recommend to do something that may feel completely odd. I ask you to stop and to take recollection and reflection of what's going on in your life and to sit with yourself for a quiet moment and to actually go that way about it and see what comes to you, even intuitively, or even just to give your mind a minute to rest. But realistically, the biggest thing that I've seen stop business owners at some point isn't a skill. It's not something they can go YouTube. It's a serious problem that's a blockage in their life that they have to take care of. A bad relationship, this or that. I can come in and I can whip your business up. I can't get rid of a bad relationship for you. Even with employees, even with vendors. Like, it could just be even in your life. It could be you're having stuff go on your kid. I'm not trying to say get rid of the kid, but what I'm trying to say is that there needs to be some kind of balancing where now there always has to be a balance in my way. So if you're not going to go full control, you're going the way of balance. And the only way at a certain point, if you run into a blockage, look deep, look inside. That's my answer.
I love that. Or buy an RV and just travel the country. That works too, right?
Have a midlife crisis at 30. It was worth it.
All right. Well, hey, on that note, that's a wrap for today's episode of Beyond the Key podcast. I want to say a huge thank you to Sterling for joining us and sharing his story, insight. I hope you enjoyed it, enjoyed the conversation. Please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with someone who you think could benefit from his story. And if you'd like to be featured on our future episodes, drop me a comment. We'd love to connect. Guys, thanks again for listening, for watching. We'll see you next time Beyond the Key. I'm Rick Brown, and as always, remember to make it a great day. Thanks, Sterling. See you, buddy.